When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful. Kevin Blanch continued my Fukushima, the beginning to the end. I want to talk about, I shot a couple of really cool videos last week, and I'm going to put them together in sequence out at the jetty in some really cool spots that you haven't seen me yet. This is the time of year. I don't think I've ever met anyone in North America who does not absolutely love this time of year. I want to talk about post-ignorance, Fukushima, this cultural event that's going on, this major art movement, this radical screaming, ranting, yelling, carrying on I did about Fukushima. My post-ignorance idealism. I write so much about the death of John Lennon, the beginning of the conservative movement that turned so incredibly neo, went so far. I don't even think the neocons. I don't think John Birchers himself. Well, Reagan, I think would have even. Well, I don't think any of them would have ever believed that it could. Ayn Rand herself wouldn't have believed it could ever come to this. This radical, pure ignorance. As post-ignorance, the art movement. I think one of the biggest things of my art movement going forward, of this cultural event going forward, is going to be emotion. Where emotion is put where it is needed, when it is needed. As my rants and my raves, and you carry on, I mean, you look at my videos up until the BP spill. I mean, I have, you know, one of my videos has nearly 40,000 views. You know, it's so dry and calm and cool. I mean, it's got to be one of the most driest things in history. Anger is used where anger is needed. Sex is needed where sex is needed. Love is used where love is needed. Calm, logical, rational passiveness. I don't know where that's ever needed, but I guess give it its place where it's needed. As it's been so grotesquely over. My rants and my raves and my pure emotion, do not kid yourself. You think they're over? Oh, no. But Fukushima, the BP spill are such incredible radical events in the history of man. They are marquee, major, incredible radical. The emotion must match the event. It's like to say in post-ignorance, the counter has to be as powerful, as emotional as the event. That's the only way this thing will ever work. It is working. As Thomas Ackerman, I got home today and I got this in the mail and I was so excited and so happy. And I think his shirt, Fukushima, he uses Oppenheimer's incredible words. Those words of Oppenheimer's are so powerful. The emotion of this event is so powerful. Got an email yesterday morning from a filmmaker in Japan. And he says, Kevin, he says, I made a little documentary, a 1-hour documentary, I want you to watch it. Had very few views, and I get lots and lots of that stuff. You would not believe how much stuff I get a day. I'm pretty good at going through. You know, I miss some things. He says, I've accredited you to this thing, and so I promised him that I would watch it. And I watched it. Wow, is all I can say. If nobody's watched it, I'm going to tag it right here. It's incredible, it's amazing. It proves to me, to all you vloggers, you bloggers, you Facebookers, you YouTube ranters, you beautiful, incredible writers, your voice is being heard, and this new genre of YouTube spreading around the globe from my art studio here in West Weber, Utah, from any corner of the world. It's incredible. It is amazing. It is unbelievable. It is such a major thing in humanity. It is so underestimated. It is so powerful. Your voice is being heard, whether you think it or not. You are changing the world. You're changing the world. This is so much power. I get emails daily daily. Kevin, you got me off the couch. Kevin, you passioned me to do this. Kevin, you did that. And my anger that flowed out, and I went crazy because I had to. The emotion has to match the event. What is more emotional than Fukushima? As I've broken down post-ignorance, I've broken down the atomic, literary, literature, art, cultural, humanity, philosophical, in the dynamic of the realness, in the realness of what life is all about, what humanity is. As I said today, I did an interview today, and I says, you know, I get asked some really ridiculous questions sometimes, and some are very, very good questions. And I debate in my mind, is this question ridiculous or is this question relevant? As I get it over and over, and I can't make up my mind whether it is a ridiculous question. I mean, a few years ago, it was totally a paranoid, freaking ridiculous question. Is nuclear fallout and Fukushima at some point going to end all humanity? My answer, hell no. Capital H-E-L-L. Life will go on, but life is going to be radically different. And the cultural event, as I've termed post-ignorance, I break down the atomic art era into two sections. De Kooning, the abstract impressionism movement, really in earnest as it was starting to be created, as Kandinsky started to work on this thing clean back in 1911. As it grew and it grew and it grew, it took a long time. And that abstract impressionism, as it burst out, there's two segments to that. There's the great progressive movement from 30 to 1979, who my mentor was so marquee in this, was so marquee to this day. Then there's the second half. The death of Lenin, as I've taught. Well, today is a marquee day. I forgot about this. Led Zeppelin. They were a powerhouse. They were a cultural giant, gigantic. He died in 1980, September 25th. There are two parts. The circle. We went from the, as John Steinbeck says it, the best in that era. We went from the we to the I. As the robber baron era, it was horrible and ugly in the 1930s. So we come full circle. In that circle of the art movement, the atomic era, we had all the way from the most progressive, the most socialized people in the history of the world, right here in the United States. Tax rates on the 1%, 90 plus. You know, protectionism, tariffs of 400%. You think it's a coincidence everybody drove? Full employment. Full medical through your employer. The government, they didn't pawn it off on the government. They didn't have to. If you didn't get it full from your workplace, how did that evolve from? That evolved from that pain. It was bloody. It was really bloody. As child labor in Pittsburgh. Isn't that ironic that Warhol comes from that? And Warhol's 17th birthday was the day Little Boy was dropped. I think that is so, so powerful. As we go from all that incredible, the greatest generation, to this worst generation, all in that same atomic art era. That big block, that big, incredible, and unbelievable era in Western Europe, in the United States, all over the world. Wow, 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 wow. It's over. It's over. Fukushima is the beginning to the end. It is over. And as post-ignorance, as I have termed it, begins. It is new, and there's nothing more exciting, nothing, than the evolution of humanity via art, via culture, via music, literature, painting, fine art, print. It's all art. Thomas Ackerman sent me that painting today. I've been thinking a lot about that painting. Self-portrait. I think self-portraits of any artist are so incredibly powerful. I think they're the most important work that artists ever did. I finished my book today, not my literary book, my art book. I put a bunch of post-ignorance together. I put it on Lulu. I've got the price way jacked up there because they're going through it, trying to get it. It's in a really, really nice book. It's 80 pages, hundreds of pieces of art. When I get a copy, I ordered one today. When I get it, I'll go through it, change the price. As post-ignorance going forward, that's my self-portrait right there. As it goes forward, I think what it's really going to be, it's going to be the byproduct of the atomic era. And the byproduct of the atomic era is going to be cancer, 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 cancer. In the interview today, I said the same thing. It's for a documentary that's being made. I said the post-ignorance era is purely a counter to the ignorance era, which it is the counter to the atomic era, which really, as it spits out, will become the byproduct, is cancer. It's going to be cancer. We're going to have a whole evolution of a world that's going to evolve forward in trying to somehow survive in the food chain, in the education system, somehow trying to call out and say, hey, the fake radical military industrialized complex, the masquerading, marauding murderers faking as Christians. What they've done to Christianity, what they've done to religion, is the devil has just grabbed right up. As somebody said today, Kevin, your videos, you've calmed down. I'm glad you see you accepted God. I've accepted God my entire life. That is nothing new. Now, what is God? I've never figured that exactly what out, but I know one thing. I love the birds, I love the landscape, I love the sun, I love the wind, I love the plane, the line, the point. As Kandinsky said. That's a cool book. As this has evolved forward, I think the glasses, the blue glasses, I think they're going to become something. I think there's something about the blue glasses. As these glasses were given to me by a neocon, an inherited wealth, remind me exactly of Mitt Romney. And for the first time, he gave them to me because, you know, he had two pair. I've got them both, the red pair and the blue pair. And, you know, I loved it. Say, this is how I see. That's how he sees. As we have to make, you know, that old cliche, lemonade out of lemons. Put that on Balco. On Balco, we have to make lemonade out of lemons. My two little one-year-old grandsons who were born within days of Fukushima happening. I think it is incredible. Their favorite food, they go crazy over blackberries. I never seen anything like it. You buy black, they go crazy. Both of them. You know, different moms, different fathers, different completely bloodlines, you know. It's amazing to me. But I think as this evolves forward, I've got an incredible video that I did out at the jetty. And I think a lot about that. And I think about that evolution. I think the 1970 has been in my mind all summer long, so hardcore. And I'm starting to realize why. I am a big believer in the synergistic energies that come simultaneously via people. I think YouTube is a way to network that, and I think that's what's happened. I think that the people's prayers and the seances and the birds and everybody's love and everything, I think that is the new frontier that will be a big part of post-ignorance, is quantifying it. I really believe it saved my life. I honestly believe that it saved my life. I really, you know, I'm not one of these persons, I know. I have faith in certain things. That's one thing I do believe in and have faith in. As this art movement, this cultural movement, this movement, as I read off that first paragraph of my book over and over and over and over, when I wrote that, I just let it come out, is so strong in what this is going to be. I'm going to put this whole string-long documentary together over the next little while. We're going to talk about this movement. It's going to be about knowledge. As we live in the information age and we're getting smarter by the day because of vloggers and bloggers and beautiful writers. I've seen the evidence, and Fukushima is the event. Fukushima is the biggest event You know, it's been said in the United States, the greatest day in American history, June 6, 1944, of course, D-Day. My uncle, who raised me right here, he's still alive, stood on Omaha Beach that day. You know, he didn't talk about it much when he was young. He's a big, strong, athletic, incredible man, hugely successful. I think the 2 days, the most two important days, happened the same day, June 6. I think the other one was June 6, 1968, because I shook his hand right before he was killed. I think March 11th, 3/11, 2011 is the biggest day, maybe ever, in world history. Honestly, I think it could be the biggest day in world history. As Warhol was on his 17th birthday, that thing was dropped. August 6th. I think it's so ironic. Numbers, dates, the flow of humanity. It's over. It is over. The atomic era is over. It's going to take a long time for it to end. It's like I said in that last video. I equate it to mustard gas. In my book, I really dive into that dynamic of World War I and its ties here into my family and how this thing's evolved. But I honestly believe 3/11/11 will go down in history as maybe the biggest day in world history. As he said, "Hey Duke, the only fight worth fighting for is the wilderness. The only fight worth fighting is the environment. It trumps everything by 10 times, as it will be cancer." Again, dates. I got sick October 13th. That walk is October 13th at Sugar House all over the United States. That is going to be one powerful, powerful night. As I have a network of survivors who are with me, who I've become friends with. Most of them are women, young girls. I've seen so many die. And the ones that will be with me in that night, that's going to be one mega emotional night. And to Thomas Ackerman, I love the painting. Blue glasses are too good. It's a self-portrait of him. Anti-nuclear activist. That's what we have to be. That's what post-ignorance is. That's what post-ignorance is. And emotion? Oh yeah. You ain't seen nothing yet. My rants, my carrying on, oh, it's going to amp up again. Trust me, it will amp up again. This thing's just getting started, as I live to tell. Kevin Blanch.